Hello, you're watching CNN 10 with me, your host, Sean Anton Georgie. Our first story today is about what OCSA students know about global studies. Those 5 themes are region, movement, location, place, and human-environment interaction. We're now cutting to my associate Dylan, who's live on the scene.
Thank you, Sean. We're here with Drake, north of the Breezeway, and we're here to see what Drake knows about global studies. All right, Drake, what's the relative location of 10th Street?
It is a distance, approximate distance?
No, relative location.
Oh, it is directly ahead of me.
No. It is south of Symphony Hall. Can you give any information about relative location?
North is this way.
Okay. Could you give the relative location of Symphony Hall?
It is south of the DMS.
That is incorrect. Symphony Hall is north of the DMS, telling that north is that way. All right, can you possibly give an example of a human-environment interaction?
Caterpillars eating leaves.
Caterpillars are not humans, Kenny. So one example is Indians raising crops. Kenny, can you give an example of a human characteristic? Say of OSHA?
Antlers.
That is not correct. So one example is buildings, because humans built buildings at OSHA, Kenny, all right? So let's try a physical characteristic. What's a physical characteristic of California?
I don't know, I took SOAR, not global studies.
What is movement?
When you move with your legs.
That is wrong. So, movement is the movement of ideas and culture. What's a human characteristic of OSHA? You're right, it's buildings. There are buildings at OSHA. All right, what's a physical characteristic of California? You're right, it is palm trees. See, global studies provides a lot of information to our community.
Thank you, Dylan Laguiton, for educating the viewers on the 5 themes of geography and allowing us to see what those great global studies students will remember. Second story today, we have our wonderful guest, Professor Evans. He's a PhD in world geography and is a world traveler that has written hundreds of books. We're lucky to watch him spin the globe and see where his next trip will take him.
Thanks for having me on the show. As now, I will spin the globe to see where I'm traveling next. Looks like I'm going to Djibouti.
Now that we know your next trip is to Djibouti, tell us what you will write about in your international showcase.
Well, I'm going to write about the events happening in Djibouti, for one. Second, I will report it back to my peers so they can understand the wonderful things that I've learned in this country. It's critical that we understand the world as global citizens. It's my job to teach the world.
Thank you, Professor Evans, for showing up, and we can't wait for your trip to begin. For our final story today, we'll be doing a segment we call Expand Your Thinking with Research. In this segment, we'll actively learn how to conduct a research paper. Your job is to research a topic that interests you. You'll describe your topic and do a lot of reading so that you can describe the history and development of the topic with research. This provides a background to set the stage for your research. This may take time, so don't procrastinate. That is a huge tip. Look up those research articles early. Critical tips to help with this paper: not to dodge block 7. Go in to check your draft. Second, learn Chicago style, which is the style you'll be writing the paper in. And third, don't try to plagiarize. It's never worth it. Serious repercussions there. At the end, you'll have a final formal presentation of your research paper in front of the whole class. Practice at home in front of the mirror. There will be a rubric included which will have all the key elements that you need, and as long as you include all those, you'll do phenomenal. That's all the time we have today here at CNN 10. I'm your host, Sean Anton Georgie, signing off. Peace. Good job today.